Rich Rodriguez didn't pull any punches. He went on the Josh Pate show and said, absolutely, you can win a national championship at West Virginia. And he said it with a straight face. And people are offended by that.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome to Locked On West Virginia, where we talk a little bit of Rich Rodriguez today, guys, as I turn my phone down. It's weird. I thought I had it down. Here's the crazy thing. Rich Rodriguez had the gall, the absolute, just the cojones to go on a show, Josh Pate. If you don't know who he is, you should check him out. He's one of the best. And actually have confidence in front of another person instead of wilting away and saying, no, we don't talk about these things in this day and age. No, Rich Rodriguez did not shrink from the pressure. And what's he supposed to say? It's a loaded question, and we know it. I'm not saying that Josh loaded it. I think it's a question that, it's interesting to ask people in this day and age. And if you're not familiar with what happened, basically the question was asked, can you win a national championship at West Virginia? Or maybe Rodriguez offered it up. I can't remember exactly at this present moment, but so that's created a little bit of a storm for some people. And, okay, so there's a guy, let me go to my X page and I'll just read it to you verbatim here. So there's a guy that said, Rich Rodriguez talking about how much he's changed when the reality is he's back at West Virginia for two reasons. Nostalgic boosters who love what he was 17 years ago, and West Virginia administrators not wanting to deal with Pat McAfee's backlash. It's just such low-hanging fruit anyway, in my opinion. And it's also wrong in some cases. Now, we do know that we were told at the time there was some donor pressure, but that doesn't mean that's why he was brought back. I firmly believe that Rembaker believes Rich Rodriguez can win here. As a matter of fact, he talks about it all the time. More than one guy can do a job somewhere. We know this across multiple data points. It happened. So what I did is I got down, you know how I do. I like to get down and scribble furiously into my keyboard and write different things down. And so I came up with a comprehensive list of reasons why I feel like West Virginia's got a shot to make it to the playoff and maybe get to a national championship game and win it. Yes, even in this day and age, we're going to talk about that. And, the full roster, guys, I went ahead and added the transfers to the current roster. You just won't believe how many players we have at some positions. It's insanity. And I'm going to try to make some sense of this and maybe get us some of the beginnings of a depth chart going here because it's insane to look at. I'm also going to talk about a basketball player. I know, don't get too freaked out here, but West Virginia is interested in an LSU transfer. We're going to check them out and see what he's all about if we have time. So that's the rundown on the show, guys. I appreciate you for joining in. By the way, I appreciate you guys for being so locked in on my first video today. I definitely caught some flack over it because I went with a different ranking system to rank a player, and a lot of people didn't like it. But that's fine. Like I said, I've got 10 toes down for Darian Lewis, and I believe he's going to be a good to great player for us. So let's see where it rolls. Like I told everybody else, bookmark it, and we'll come back to it, right? Okay, so first, before we go anywhere, this episode is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, guys. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Let's jump into this really quick as we roll in to my reasons why I think Rich Rodriguez has a shot here at West Virginia in his second stint. History demonstrates his ability to win and build a competitive programs. That's a fact. And he often exceeded expectations at places. You think the expectations were great for him at Jackson State when he went there? His resume provides a strong foundation for his championship aspirations at West Virginia to me. Obviously, from 01 to 07 at West Virginia, we were a national contender, 60-26, 4 Big East championships, obviously innovating the spread offense and producing stars like Pat White and Steve Slayton. 2006 Sugar Bowl, should have been in the 07 BCS National Championship, but we unfortunately lost to our most hated rivalry. So we were consistently in the top 10, and he was able to maximize talent in a region that's not traditionally rich with in a hotbed of talent, right? There's not a bunch of recruiting. We talked about that today. Well, he talked about that on the Josh Pate show today as well. So I think his prior success at West Virginia proves that he understands our program identity and our expectations as fans. You look at Jack State from 22 to 24. He orchestrated a move from the FCS to the FBS, and a remarkable turnaround in one of the poorest FCS programs in the country at the time, guiding them to the FBS. And he was 27-10 over 3 years there. Conference championship, beat Western Kentucky just to hell, 52-14, and in that championship game. And his teams reached bowl games in his first 2 FBS seasons, guys. A feat unmatched by any other program ever. So he's still winning, guys. Imagine that. His high-powered offense ranked among the nation's very best in scoring and rushing, guys. And we know that Trey Stewart kid had an excellent year there, almost 2,000 rushing yards by himself. And he was a Division II guy, by the way. And people want to sleep on all these guys. They know how to evaluate, man. I'm all in on this team. Maybe not this year, but I'm all in on this staff that he's put together. That's another reason that I didn't even write down here. The quality of coaches we have this time around at West Virginia are quite a bit better in some areas. Now, Calvin McGee, those guys don't grow on trees. Obviously, Jeff Castile is still here. But like Zach Alley, we didn't have a guy like that. I don't feel. Nicewander, the kid, the guy that's coaching tight ends, I feel like he's a star in the making. There's a couple others we'll get into. Obviously, the Arizona tenure could have been better. I think he was 10 games over 500 there. He had a 10-win season in 2014 and went to the Fiesta Bowl. He was Pac-12 Coach of the Year at a place that's never won, ever. Like him and Jed Fish are the only 2 people that ever really won there of recent. Kadeem Carey, which was a really good running back he had there, was ranked among the nation's best. He had a messy departure. Obviously, off-field issues there. I don't want to make excuses for that behavior. It was not good. And hopefully he learned from that. But, and that's what that one guy was alluding to. He says he's changed. Whatever, bro. I mean, it's easy to sit at your keyboard and judge somebody. Let's roll out everything you've ever done wrong for everybody to see. I talk about my shit all the time because, I came to the conclusion a long time ago, fellas and ladies, that people are going to attack you whether they know you or not. And in some cases, they're going to dig and find what's wrong anyway and tell everybody they can about it. And that's what happens to me a lot. So I went ahead and just talked about it anyways because, number one, I'm proud of where I come from. Contrary belief anyways, but contrary to belief because some people think I'm ashamed of it, and I'm not. I'm actually proud of the 5 years clean that I have and where I've come from. That Michigan tenure is the black eye on his resume. It was a bad decision. He admits it was a bad decision. They were 15-22, but context does matter here. 3 and Out, John Bacon. If you haven't read it, it's a good book. Rodriguez faced significant challenges, including a cultural mismatch, resistance from players and boosters accustomed to traditional schemes, guys, and NCAA violations for exceeding practice time limits because he's obsessed with every rep. He was fired after 3 seasons, but it was arguably before he could fully implement his system. And the proof of the pudding is Brady Hoke came in and went to the Sugar Bowl in year 1 or whatever it was there and then never won again, or didn't win much after that. I truly believe if they'd have just let him do his thing, he'd have been fine, but whatever. So despite those struggles, he recruited extremely well, and I think he laid the groundwork for future success under Brady Hoke, and his experience at Michigan was not a triumph by any means. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I think it taught him a great lesson, and he was still, a younger-ish guy at that point in time. So he knows how to build winning programs, guys. That's the point. Michigan's the only failure he had, and he was there from 2008 to 2010. Name a guy that can build a staff in that era, and 2.5 years. It's not possible. You can't do it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, Pat McAfee, Ken Kendrick. We know about it. We love it. His return to West Virginia is bolstered by the support of two of the program's most prominent figures, right? Pat McAfee and Ken Kendrick. The involvement provides financial, promotional, emotional, critical support in the NIL era, guys. Obviously, Pat McAfee was a former punter and kicker for us. He's been a vocal advocate for Rich Rod. We know that. And I even remember watching back. I had a guy tell me yesterday, a guy that committed to West Virginia. No, it was today. He said, I know about Rich Rod because of Pat McAfee. I watch his show every single day. And he said that when he was at Jack State, he knew who he was there because Pat McAfee talked about it all the time. It can't be underestimated, the impact that Pat McAfee has in our program. And a lot of people take him for granted, just like every other walk in life. I did a video about this the other day. Pat McAfee gets hate from wrestling fans. He gets hate from football fans for just being unapologetically who he is. And I love it. So obviously he's a vocal advocate for Rich Rod, and I can detail all the different things. He's given us $1 million in NIL plus more. Like for a while there, every kid that we signed they were standing in front of a Pat McAfee logo. No other program in the country can say that. Ken Kendrick, the billionaire owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, is the program's top donor with an estimated net worth of $1.1 billion. His financial backing is pivotal in the NIL era, where recruiting and retaining talent depends on funding. He's been instrumental in the Country Roads Trust, which is our NIL collective, and is a very staunch supporter of Rich Rodriguez. We know that. Some sources that I read said he indicated that he and other boosters pledged significant donations to facilitate Rodriguez's return, including covering Neil Brown's buyout and funding competitive salaries, which did happen. Kendrick clarified that no one pressured Red Baker to hire Rodriguez, but his support ensures West Virginia's resources to compete in the recruiting era, in the NIL era, against wealthier programs certainly are going to come a long way. And post on X, I was reading through some. They speculate like his backing could lead to maybe even top 10 funds, or it's not that great. We're not there. We're not top 10 or anything like that, but I think we're top 30, right? We're able to compete. We're probably top 3 or 4 in the Big 12, somewhere in there. We're not BYU for sure. We're not Texas Tech. But after that, I think it's very competitive. So Kendrick's commitment signals to players and recruits, in my opinion, that we're really serious about winning. And so that kind of counters some perceptions out there, in my opinion, that we can't compete in the financial game these days. Like Bob Huggins only did it because he had the pull, right? Well, now Rich Rod's got it. So the combined influence of McAfee and Kendrick are going to be two critical needs that we have to have: branding and funding. That's what I have this labeled, by the way. Branding and funding. That's what they give us. So let's go to break really quick, and I'll finish that up, and then we'll get to this crazy roster, you guys. It's insane. You won't believe how many players we have on the roster right now. We've literally got 12 offensive linemen or whatever it is, 12 wide receivers, like 12 defensive linemen. It's just everywhere you look, they got 12 guys. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, guys. We talk about Monarch Money around here because they do it big. And if you ever look at your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building your wealth, guys. All-in-one convenience makes it easy. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your very first year. It's segment 2, and you know what? We're going to go SMU blue for this Mountain Dew. That's right. SMU Blue for this Mountain Dew. Jalen Knighton. We didn't do this last week. And talk to him today. He is going to come on the show. We're just trying to work it out. He's still in school there, so. But, I mean, he's one of our 3 or 4 best, in my opinion, pickups this offseason. And I'm partially biased because we've gotten to know each other just a little bit, not like best friends or anything. But, I'm really rooting for him. I think he's got, if something happened to Jaheim, I would fully trust the ball in his hands, But I think they're going to be a great pair, and I think Ty Edwards is going to be a great changeup to him. Okay, let me get through these other. I won't be as long-winded on these. Strategic fit in the Big 12 and in the expanded playoff, both play in West Virginia's favor for now because the Big 12 has open competition, guys. It's not the SEC or the Big 10, right? The Big 12 is highly unpredictable. BYU, freaking Arizona State last year, nobody had that predicted. Utah hitting the bottom like they did, which we all love, but nobody had that predicted. So there's no dominant powerhouse in the Big 12. Maybe Texas Tech is the next one, the way they're spending money. I mean, you still got to win, but we saw Texas lose for years like that. But I'm getting scared of Texas Tech the way they're spending money. I ain't going to lie. 2024, teams like Arizona State and others outperformed the expectations, while favorites like Utah and Oklahoma State struggled. This volatility favors a coach like Coach Rich Rod, who thrives in underdog roles, guys. And winning the Big 12 secures an automatic college football playoff berth. Well, this high-octane offense is well-suited to exploit some of which we've seen in bowl games before. This is a big point I want to make. West Virginia beat 2 teams in BCS games under Coach Rodriguez that we really had no business being, although he wasn't there for Oklahoma. It was his team. Oklahoma was 1,000 times, well, not 1,000, but you know what I'm saying. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but they were way more talented than West Virginia. Georgia was the SEC champion and much more talented. And in both of those games, West Virginia took them boys to the dog shed because they ran a unique, weird defense and they ran a unique, weird offense, and it jumped all over both of them. And it's just not something you can prepare for. And stylistically, in those conferences, those guys have to play big, smash mouth football, and West Virginia was playing quick, it's that classic matchup clash. So West Virginia was able to beat these teams based on that. It ain't changed. We're still going to, a lot of the teams that make it to the playoff still have those bigger, stronger, more athletic kind of guys. Except this time we have a lot better athletes to work with. That's another thing people aren't considering, guys. Rich Rodriguez is never going to have had better talent outside of Michigan. But even then, he didn't have a chance to utilize it, than he is here at West Virginia now. Some of the talent we're bringing in is better than he ever had at West Virginia the first time. We develop guys into better players, but athletically, some of these guys like Jamori Robinson, you look at some of the slot receivers we brought in, so they can fly. I don't know if we had guys like that in the past, really. I love Man Singleton. And you guys are going to – I think there's some guys on this roster that are going to break out that just – you probably didn't see them coming because of where they played at or whatever, but I'm really excited to see how this mixture comes together here. So, obviously, it's easy to win the Big 12. Easier. Adaptability to the NIL transfer portal era. He's shown the ability to do that. I mean, how many players have we brought in now, guys? It's going to be upwards of close to 70, 75 players or whatever it is. I think he's pretty much cracked that, hasn't he? I mean, now, has he going after the top players all the time? That could be a knock. But, I mean, is he afraid to go out and change the roster up? Hell no. Unlike Neil Brown was, kind of. And then lastly, I'll go with the redemption narrative. I think this is the great narrative. This is why we all want to see this happen. Because the 07 pit loss, guys, was the very last game Rich Rodriguez coached at West Virginia. Think about that for a second. The last game that Rich Rodriguez coached at West Virginia was Pitt. And then he left, and a lot of us hated him after that. I'm no different. But I've forgiven him, absolutely, and I'm rooting for him like nobody's business. And I'll cry buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of tears. Hell, if we just get to the Big 12 championship game, I'll probably cry my eyes out. No lie. But it means that much to me, Like, I would do some really bad things for us to be good again. I would. So, he's 61. It's his last coaching stop, guys. He's going to win his 200th game in the West Virginia University on the sideline for West Virginia. He's going to win that 200th game with us. Could it be this year? Probably not. He's at 190. Could it be next year? I think so. Could he have multiple conference titles? Well, he already does. Could he have a national championship? He technically already does at Glenville State. Could he solidify his legacy as one of college football's best innovators? I think he already has. But he has to win a championship to do that on the umpteenth level. Jimbo Fisher style. Some fans remain bitter about 2007, and I say to you, either get on or get off. That's just how I feel. Like, otherwise you're just dead weight. Support or don't. If you're waiting and seeing, I can get that. If you just want to wait and see, that's fine. But definitely don't go the opposite direction and pull the other way. It just doesn't help. So let's reignite the swagger that we had when we had Rich Rod the first time around. Let's reignite our fandom swagger, guys. We shrink away from anything nowadays because we got nothing to stand on. We can't stand on the Clemson win anymore. We can't stand on the Georgia win anymore. We can't stand on beating Sam Bradford's ass anymore. It's time to move on to new ventures. Let's beat Deion Sanders' ass in Morgantown this year. Let's stand on that. Let's whoop Arizona State. They won the Big 12 and they think they've got it. Well, let's bring old Dillingham down here to Morgantown this year and let's kick them around a little bit, or wherever maybe we play up there. I don't remember. But let's bring the swagger back to Morgantown. Teams were scared to play us. Mississippi State, an SEC team, was beat before they ever got on the field with us. Fired up. Let's go to break, guys, and we'll talk about this roster. It's insanity. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I'm excited to see what it is. You caught me. That's not bad. It's not a bad flavor of Dusky. I'll give it the voltage. Not bad at all. It's like a blueberry kind of flavor, which I can deal with. Kind of remind you know what it is? It's that same flavor if you've ever had the blueberry Red Bull, which I don't drink anymore. But if you've ever had the blueberry Red Bull, that's what it's like. All right, guys. So let's move away from the Rich Rod talk. Hope you enjoyed that conversation. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about it. Do you disagree? Am I stupid? Am I fat, like some people tell me every week, or whatever you want to say? If you, I'm your punching bag. I'm an easy target. Let me know how you feel, though. Seriously. Let's move on to this. So, obviously, I wanted to break down just who we have on this roster. And so what I did was because I was in a rush, I copy and pasted all of our roster on Transfer Portal and the roster that I found on the 247 website. And I put it in a GP or an AI and I said, hey, group everybody together for me so I can read it off easier. So that's what it did. And I'm hoping there's no major mistakes here. So, because this is why I do think I'm so scared. I do things I do it on my own because I'm afraid that it's going to make a mistake and then live, and then I'm going to look silly. So that's just kind of part of it, though. So is it this one? Let's see. Yeah. So here we go. Below, it says here, below is the breakdown of all the players from both provided lists organized by position. It says it's carefully combined the players from the transfer and the second list, which is the roster, ensuring no duplicates are included because that's what I said. Each player is listed only once using the most complete information available. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. So let's look at quarterbacks here. Max Brown, Scotty Fox Jr., Jalen Henderson, Scott Keene, Nico Marchiol, and Khalil Wilkins. Does anybody have an issue with that? Is there anybody there on that list that you think isn't here anymore? Is Khalil Wilkins still here? Did he transfer? I honestly can't remember, and I do this for a living. Isn't that crazy? Somebody tell me down below. Did he transfer out? Can't remember. I don't think he did. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he did. But It seems like he did because we had heard nothing about him. Somebody let me know down below, though, really quick. That one's got me a little – I'm already thinking the AI messed me up here. So this is an interesting quarterback room. Obviously, you've got quarterback 1 for now. You've got quarterback 2, Jalen Henderson. Quarterback 3 is interesting. I think you got to give it to Scotty Fox, though, guys. I think Scott Fox is QB3 right now. Max Brown, I do have a lot. I like Max Brown a lot. Maybe he's quarterback 3 for now. But I do think Scotty Fox has got a chance to be a Pat White type situation where if nobody's playing well, Scotty Fox might come in 6 games into the year and play his ass off real quick. He's got the talent to do it. Running back room. There's 5 guys in the running back room. Clay Ash, Trey Edwards, Dior Hubbard, Jalen Knighton, and Jaheim White. Guys, I spoke to some people yesterday that said Dior Hubbard is they're expecting a lot out of him. And these are people inside the room, in the walls. I messaged, I got told something, and then I was like, let me see what a couple of these players think about this. And Dior Hubbard may have had the most impressive spring of almost anybody in the program. So I hesitate to talk about it because the portal's open sometimes, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I can't just not talk about things. It's my show, you know. It's kind of hard. But Jalen Knighton's a fun addition to the room, obviously. You got the size, you've got the speed, you got Clay Ash in there. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out, but you got Jaheim White at 1. Then you've got Hubbard and Knighton and Edwards, I think, are probably all oars for number 2. Any of these guys could be number 2, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Ty Edwards is going to play. I keep calling him Trey, sorry. Ty Edwards is going to play regardless because he's 6'2", 237. That's just the way it is. 12 wide receivers. Can you believe we have 12 wide receivers in that room now? Which I'm not saying that happens. I mean, they're trying to add more. They just add it. They just freaking sent an offer out to somebody just not even a couple hours ago from Slippery Rock, 6'4" guy. So anyway, we got 12 guys here. Good luck coming up with 4 guys out of this list. You got Gerard Bowie, 5'9", 162, really good route runner. You got Jaden Bray, who I think is the sleeping giant of this list for sure. He's a redshirt senior. He's in a contract year basically for the NFL. You got Christian Hamilton, whose tape was really nice. Preston Fox, who is obviously Mr. Do-It-All, very consistent, not a game breaker at receiver, but he can do everything well. Rodney Gallagher is working really hard, we're told, and has a chance to break out. Jordan McCants is another one that doesn't have a lot of production, but the staff wanted him for whatever reason. Oron Singleton is my guy right here. You know, and if you haven't seen his tape at Eastern Michigan, please go check it out. It's electric tape. He's a kick returner. He had kick returns for touchdowns, punt returns for touchdowns. He takes passes 70 yards from the bubble route. Like he's probably might be the fastest guy in the room now. I don't know. Maybe Justin Smith-Brown is. I have no clue. Or actually Cam Bond is. Sorry. That's wide receiver number 1. I think we could come out of this with at least that. But, I mean, look at Jeff Weimer, though, 6'2", 204, and had a ton of production in college. Over 1,000 yards, you know. I mean, just there's some good players in this room now, honestly. But I'll go Cam Bond at number 1, just 1 through 4. We're not going to break these up in positions yet. We'll go Cam number 1. But, you know, I got put in my place earlier in the year on this. And from what I understand, he's performed well in camp so far. So I'm going to give Rodney Gallagher that number 2 spot for now. I think a lot of people want him to succeed, and I think it'd be great for West Virginia if he did. And this is his junior year. Like, I was of the mindset coming into this, like, if he was going to break out, he should have already. But then we thought about it's Neil Brown, right? So maybe he just hasn't been coached right. I mean, to be honest, a different wide receiver coach every year. It hasn't been fair to him. So let's see where he's at. Jeff Weimer, I think, is an interesting one, but I got to go with my guy, man. God, this is hard. Well, I'll go Oron Singleton for the other slot and then Jaden Bray for the other one, but, like, I don't feel great about it. I really don't. The only one I'm sure of on this list is Cam Bond. That's it for now. So tight end is super interesting, guys. Grayson Barnes is my number 1 tight end. talk to a wall about it. I love Jacob Barrick, and I think he's going to be really good as well. I think they'll both rotate. Interesting that see, I'd already didn't get something right unless he's not on the list anymore. I mean, where's Genros? Greg Genros. Is he not on there anymore? I didn't pay attention. I've only been thinking about incoming guys. I don't think Genros transferred. I would have known that. Maybe it just wasn't on the roster I copy and pasted. Might be a couple guys missing on here, guys. If there are, I'm sorry. You get the vibe, though. Guys, I love Grayson Barnes. I think he's going to be a great player for us this year. I love his tape. He's a great receiving tight end. Offensive line's a fun room. Obviously, Carson that just came in today, Carson Lee here is going to really push Landon Livingston for that starting center job. I really do think. But ultimately, I think he probably wins that left guard spot. It's the most open of all the spots right now. So I would probably go Carson Lee at the left guard spot. Don't feel great about it, but I'll think Landon's still going to start. For now, I'm going to go Tykees Crawford at right tackle. I don't know how to – this is so hard, guys. It really is because Ogbo's going to play. There's no way he doesn't play. He's probably going to be the left guard, maybe. Good luck figuring this out. Like, this is hard for me. Walter Youngbear should play. Like, Robbie Martin's not going to play. Livingston's going to play. You would think Carson's going to play. Nick Cray was one of the better performers in camp here. Like, he's probably going to play. This is not easy, man. I don't want to be these guys trying to figure this out. Obviously, Xavier Bosley, I just haven't heard anything from him or anybody. And I heard he was a little injured during camp. I don't know this for sure. So let's just see how all plays out. I mean, Xavier Bosley was a freshman All-American at Jackson State. It's crazy, guys. It's just too much to try to figure out. But, I mean, you got to put Ogbo on the list, right? He's probably the highest paid player in the room. Crawford's probably got to be on the list from a physical specimen standpoint. I have no doubt in him. I talked to his offensive line coach from Charlotte. He told me the only problem he had was at Arkansas, the offensive line scheme was very intricate, and it was hard for him to go fast and remember the plays. So, that could have just been – and I don't know if that was his first year in the offense or what. That kind of soured me on him at first, and then I heard he did a really good camp. So I don't want to judge anybody. I don't think he's stupid or anything like that, I promise. I just – that made me kind of think about, like, I don't know. But there's – he's a physical specimen. I mean, can we have an all-SEC starting offensive line? I don't know. But it's an interesting room for sure, guys. I mean, they weren't happy with the room coming out of camp. So anybody that was on there outside of Livingston and Cray, you might as well just say, I don't know what's happening there, because they brought all these extra guys in for a reason. 15 offensive linemen. Defensive line, how much time we got left here? We're already over. Okay, well, we'll roll through this really quick. Defensive line, you got 10 guys in the room now. Brandon Caesar, Nick Gabriel, Quentin Goins, Eddie Kelly Jr., Kimo Makaniole is not a defensive lineman. That's a mistake from where the way they had it typed in. He's an offensive lineman, so we had to put him up. And there's another one that performed well during camp, we're told. Corey McIntyre is my breakout star in this room if he stays healthy. I do think he'll have a breakout year. He's never played it down, and he's a redshirt sophomore. It's time. He's got to, he's been injured both years he's been here, unfortunately. Eddie V, stable as a rock. Hammond Russell, stable as a rock. Corey McIntyre, stable as a rock. Eddie Kelly Jr. can set the edge like nobody's business. Pretty good there. I feel decent about that room now. Jamoy Robinson's the most talented guy on our roster, both offense or defense possibly. I love that guy. And Adam Tomczyk is a monster, and so does Braden Siders. Tomczyk's got a lot to prove. We got to be honest there. But, man, his tape from JUCO is pretty good. And I love talking with him. He's a good guy. But obviously Siders had a really good camp, because Robinson and Siders, you want to look at the two reasons why. This is what I heard. The two reasons why the West Virginia went out and added a bunch of offensive linemen was them two guys right there. Jamori Robinson and Braden Siders made everybody look stupid during camp, is what I was told. So, especially Jamori Robinson. And he was injured some of camp, I believe. So, it just is what it is. The linebackers room, they went hard and heavy at, right? So, the two easy guys are – yeah, there's somebody missing here. Who am I missing here? So apparently this didn't bring everybody in here, guys. It needs to be in here. That's frustrating. But obviously Ben Bogle, my guy. Love me some Ben Bogle. I think Ashton Woods is an up-and-comer. The Colorado State transfer is not in here, and there's probably more missing. So I'll have to redo this. There's more than 9 corners, too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here's Chase Wilson down here. What the heck's he doing on this list? See, it's messed. I knew it. That's why you can't trust AI, guys. It messes everything up. This is why I should have just done it myself and postponed it 5 more minutes. But anyways, Chase Wilson is one of your starting linebackers, absolutely. No doubt about it. And then I think Bogle is one of your starting inside backers. And then you've got these two here on the outside. So should be a fun room to monitor. So you'll probably have a Robinson, Siders, Bogle, and Wilson looking kind of situation. That's at least my opinion. Corners, you see them here. I'm assuming are going to be more missing, but we'll just try to look through. I love William Davis. I think he's great. Obviously, Michael Coach Jr. is the cornerback one in the room. Vontae Golden-Nelson is very interesting in that room. So is Keyshawn Robinson. I've heard he's got a lot of upside. Chase Wilson at corner. That'd be hilarious. Seems like we're missing more players here. Pretty sure we are. But Derek Carter Jr. is probably going to be one of those guys to look at. This is frustrating now. In this room, Justin Harrington obviously stands out right away. Darren Lewis, who we just added today, I don't know how you keep him off the field, guys, and I know I've got some flack for it today. I'm an enormous Darren Lewis fan. Enormous. After I watched the tape. And do I think he's a 5-star guy? I don't know. I think Kakor Tarnu is absolutely a good player, though. Coon Rapids, that's a pretty cool place to be from. Interesting place to be from. I don't know what state that's in, though. Oh, from Liberia? Liberia. Okay. That sounded Liberia. Jordan Scruggs is another one, man. And some of these guys I think are corners too in the list. I don't know. This just ain't necessarily what it's going to look like. I'll have to redo all this to get it more fine-tuned, but at least you're getting a look at like the numbers and everything. So Justin Harrington, as long as he's healthy, I think will be one of the starters. And I think Darren Lewis will probably be one. But it's going to be hard to keep Fred Perry and Jordan Scruggs off the field. I don't know how you do it. But here's the thing, guys. It's a 3-3-5. You got to have 3 safeties, right? So there's going to be plenty of snaps for everybody. And on the specialist, I'm not even going to make an attempt. Oliver Straw starts at punter. McGuire Moss starts at long snapper. That's it. All right, guys. I appreciate you for joining in. This was a fun one. The basketball transfer I'll get to tomorrow. And I've reached out to him. I want to get a little more information first because I don't even know if he's visiting yet. So it's not even worth really diving into until we get an answer on that. So thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network where we talk about your team every single day. Do me a big favor, guys. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and share the video out. If you can copy and paste the link, share this out and say, holy crap, this guy's defending Rich Rod, he's dumb, or whatever you want to say. I would really appreciate it. I'll try to fix that list. The AI kind of screwed me on that one, so I apologize. It's all the AI's fault. And I'll have a new microphone this week, so that'll be exciting to see. We'll actually have one I don't have to hold anymore. Thanks to my moderators in the chat for being so gracious and help me get that. And other than that, guys, not a lot left. We'll be interviewing Jalen Knight, the new transfer, at some point in the next couple of days, I assume, just waiting on his schedule to see what he's got going on. So there's reasons to come back here if you want to see more. The Discord link is in the chat. Dylan, I think, put it in there. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great, great afternoon, evening, and week. And I'm out of here.